We begin tonight's show with our rock music critic, Tyree Ford. Tyree, what's on board for tonight?
Well, hopefully the three of us are on board because there are sharks in the water. There are also sharks on MTV as well. You know, one of the best things to happen to rock music in the past few years has been MTV and other music video programs. Prior to MTV, rock radio stations, whose concern it was to cultivate and keep as large a portion of the 18 to 34-year-old market as possible, had a tendency to be somewhat conservative. They wouldn't take chances on new groups and preferred playing artists that their audience already knew. MTV, who had a lot more to gain than lose, began airing music videos of lesser-known groups. Breaking these new acts took the burden, as well as some of the power, away from the radio stations. Then, borrowing from the radio station's arsenal of promotions, MTV began a basement tapes competition. A competition in which thousands of hard-working but lesser-known bands hoped to get some exposure, win some money and equipment, and a record contract with Elektra Records. Enter the Sharks, a group from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. In January of last year, they made the basement tape semifinals with their locally produced music video called On My Own. In June of last year, this video beat out videos by similar groups from Atlanta, Boston, Chicago, and Los Angeles. Part of the prize, the album on Elektra Records, was recorded this past November and December in New York. The Sharks are now touring to support the record, hoping their contract will be renewed. This is the video that started it all, On My Own. This is the Sharks. The new album, part of their prize for having the best video, is called In a Black and White World, a reference to their prize-winning video. Another part of the prize package was the funding for another video. The Sharks went big time for this one. It's called Only Time Will Tell, and they shot it in Times Square. With a new album in the stores, a new video, and major label backing, the Sharks would appear to have it made. But ask anyone who's been in the record business for any length of time, and they'll tell you how prophetic the title of the Sharks' new video, Only Time Will Tell, really is. Incidentally, the Sharks asked me to pass along their thanks for supporting them all this time, and they hope you like the new record and the video, too. Now, let's talk about Graham Nash's new album, Innocent Eyes. When I think about Graham Nash, I think of his vocal harmonies with Crosby and Stills, and later with Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Terrific vocal harmony has always been Nash's trademark, and it still is. But like a lot of artists these days, he's using a lot of synthetic drums. And like a lot of songs these days, those sample drum sounds are very prominent in the mix, so much so that it can be distracting. You listen for yourself to this. The social commentary lyrics are still there, and so are the introspective relationship songs. Kenny Loggins and James Taylor both chip in on vocals here and there. The album is well done. I just would have liked it a little more if the drums weren't quite so high in the mix, and if they didn't sound like almost every other drum I've heard recorded lately. And that's it, Brian.
Going back to the Sharks, Tyree, yeah. I love their prophetic nature, you know, Only Time Will Tell, and all that. Tell me, can they play music?
They play very fine music, and they've been at it for 6 years. This is not a group that has like popped up out of nowhere. You know, you hear that a lot. These guys have been building a reputation based out of their Lancaster home for quite some time. They've got 3 or 4 records of their own that they have put out. And they're like many hard-working bands across the country.
Takes a long time.
It takes a long time, and you have to keep at it.
Okay, well, we'll sit here and talk about things of great musical gravity, and we'll also go over to Kelly and Nina.